Otherwise, we will get started in just a moment. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm looking forward to having you in class. My name is Pam, for those of you who don't know me. Just a quick review of the props. So if you don't have props, that's okay. You can use household items or clothes and stuff like that you wouldn't normally. So for example, if you don't have blocks, you can use a big bottle of cleaner, like bleach or vinegar, something like that. If you don't have a belt, you can use like a cloth belt if you have one. Leather might not have enough give, or you can use a Dynaband or even a tie. If you don't have a bolster, you can use pillows. Same with the Zafu, you can always use a cushion or some blankets, and I would recommend that you have a blanket as well. So we'll begin as usual. We also have water nearby. You can either choose to sit with me or you can lie back just to begin. So if you're lying back, you're coming onto your back. If you have a blanket, you can have it under your head. Personally, I prefer to be on the mat, but that's entirely up to you. And then you're going to let your knees rest together and your feet come apart, or if your back is feeling fine with that, you can let the legs go long, wider than your mat. Same with the arms, palms face up, arms comfortably away from you. You can also, if you have a bolster or cushions or blankets or even blocks, place them under your thighs or under your knees, just to give you a little bit more support. And to let your back relax a little bit more. So either coming to lie on your back or coming to sitting with me. You can sit on a cushion or a Zafu if you have one, or even some blankets. And then just coming to a nice tall spine if you're seated. Perhaps with furry friends if you have some. And then just becoming aware of your breath. Taking a moment to settle down onto the mat, whether you're lying back or you're seated. Adjust in any way that you need to make sure you feel comfortable so that you can stay in this position for a little while. So if sitting on the floor is not something you normally do, then perhaps sitting against the wall so you have some support on your back. And sitting on the cushion so that your hips can tip a little bit more forward. So other than that, just coming into your breath, coming into your belly, staying with each breath. In each moment, let there be nothing else. Inhaling to expand your belly towards the ceiling. Exhaling to bring your belly back towards your spine. And just letting go. Inviting a sense of ease. Inviting a little bit of release. Inviting the breath anywhere that the body is holding tension. And as you breathe in, maybe mentally picturing that area expanding with the breath as you breathe in, filling with air, becoming more relaxed. And as you breathe out, maybe in your mind's eye, watching it deflate, release, ease, let go. Being with each breath in each moment. Your mind may wander, but that's okay. Just invite it back to the breath. Pausing, breathing, releasing. Taking a moment to see if the following intention resonates with you for today. In what ways can you offer yourself some loving kindness today? Perhaps it's by staying in a pose a little bit longer because it feels like such a yummy, juicy stretch. Perhaps it's coming out of pose sooner than I've said because the body's asking for that. How can you offer yourself some loving kindness today? And if that doesn't resonate with you, perhaps something else might. An invitation to perhaps try to be a little bit more of your breath, aware of your breath during your practice, or seeing where you can let go in the body. If it resonates with you, how can you offer yourself some loving kindness today? Taking a few more moments here to just rest, breathe, release, letting go. Eventually, inviting a deeper breath. Wiggling your fingers and toes. Stretching or moving in any way that feels right for you. And in your time, if you're seated with me, just taking a moment to come to the mat. Having your belt handy, or you can always use your pants if you need to. Once you've wiggled your fingers and toes, if your legs were long, bending the knees, placing the feet on the mat, starting to windshield wiper the knees a little. So just inviting the knees to slowly drift from one side to the other. Just inviting a gentle movement. Still there's your breath. So making loving kindness in this position means that you don't go as far, perhaps. Or maybe that you eventually exhale and allow the knees to drop to one side. Bringing the arms into a T position and to just give yourself a juicy stretch and a twist. Breathing here for a moment. Eventually exhale and bring the knees back to center and windshield wiper them a few more times. Maybe your body asked not to go into a twist today. And can you honor that with loving kindness rather than perhaps with some judgment? So again, perhaps eventually coming to the other side, letting the knees fall, relaxing into a juicy, gentle twist. Remembering that there's no pain in yoga, only juicy stretches. I hope Yoda says there's no pain. Exhale and slowly come back to center. Again, maybe windshield wiper a few more times. And then from here, exhale one knee at a time towards your chest, beginning to draw circles with your ankles in one direction and then the other. Also circling into the wrist, circling in one direction and then the other. And then eventually shake that out, let that go, shake, shake, shake. And then we'll grab our belt or our pants if we need to. And we'll just come to a gentle leg stretch. So letting that leg rest right in your hip socket, rolling your shoulder blade down your back. The dead weight of your arms holds up your leg. If it feels okay, you stay here. This is enough of a stretch. Perhaps exhale, lengthen your down leg along the mat. And feel a little bit of a deeper stretch, but never for pulling or tugging on the belt because we can tear our muscles in a bad way that way. Breathing there. Again, finding that position of the foot between being pointed and flexed. Still there's your breath. Eventually slowly bend the knee back, release the foot, shake it out, and switch sides. Again, maybe you're holding on to your pants, maybe just holding on to the leg or the thigh. Just don't hold on to the knee. You never want to hold on to a joint because you're going to put too much pressure on that joint. And I don't like to be under pressure. So again, between being pointed and flexed, find that center point. If this is enough of a stretch with the leg right in the hip socket, my knee is not locked, it's soft. If you wish, lengthen the down leg along the mat. Only if the hip lets go from an exhalation of the belly back does the leg come towards you. Breathing here. Eventually, slowly bending those knees again and letting that go. In your time, roll to your right side for a breath or two. And then eventually use your arms to bring you up onto all fours. So from here, we're actually going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to start with circles. So we're going to circle the body while we're on all fours. Again, if you need to pad your knees, please have a blanket. I have 2 mats, so that's my padding. And sometimes I still use blankets. So listen to your body. Listen to your body. And we'll begin to draw circles with the body. So before you do that, make sure you're in a table position. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and then beginning to circle the body. Work with your breath. So as you breathe, with your breath, so breathing in and out naturally. Perhaps even exhale as you come back. Inhale as you come forward if that works for you. Drawing nice circles, big circles with the body. Working in one direction. And then eventually changing directions. Circle the body. Eventually, you're going to come back to center. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows. So exhale, then tailbone looks down, back comes up, head comes down. Inhale, tailbone up, back down, head up. And we're just going to do head up and down this time. Because we're going to add a different lateral movement today. Working with your own breath as you inhale, you come up, as you exhale, you come down. Maybe work it one more time. And then eventually resting in child's pose for a breath or two. So widening the knees, toes come together, reaching forward, forehead comes to the mat. If the forehead doesn't reach the mat, stack the hands or fists to bring the mat to you. Take a couple of deep breaths there. From child's pose, from here, what we're going to do is something a little bit different. So I'm actually going to exhale to bring my leg, show you this side first. I'm going to exhale to lengthen my right leg. And then from there, I'm actually going to touch down with my toes across the mat. The box or no way there. So turn around here. Okay. So I've lengthened my leg. I'm crossing my leg over and touching my toes down. From here, I'm actually going to sink back as if I was in child's pose to just stretch out a little bit more. And then I can stay upward, or perhaps I can rest my forehead on a block, on my hands. If I feel too much of a stretch, I can just stay a little bit more upwards. So you're almost in a little bit of a pigeon pose here, but just a nice lateral stretch. And then from there, if it's comfortable, keep the legs straight, the back leg straight, and try to look it towards the back toes, rolling the shoulder blades down your back, feeling a nice stretch in the side body, opening in the opposite side of the body that you're stretching away from. So just like we wrap our bodies around the pole in lateral catch, this just actually adds a little bit to that stretch, just by having that extra movement with the leg. So a couple of breaths here, and then eventually slowly come back, lifting the leg, setting the leg back down, and then switching sides. So lengthen that leg back, crossing the body, dropping the toes, and then as if you're coming into a bit of a child's pose there. Dropping the head down for a moment just to feel that nice stretch. And then when you're ready, bring that lateral movement in. So if you need to, you can drop that knee or keep the legs straight to come to a side bending movement. Again, I'll switch here so you can see a little bit better. And so cross the body, we're sinking down a little bit just to rest, and then coming back to have that lateral movement. As if I'm wrapping my body around a pole or trying to look at my foot, just to feel that nice opening in the opposite side of the body. And then eventually coming back, bringing the knee back, and just having a gentle child's pose, stretching forward. Releasing, breathing, letting go. In your time, coming back to all fours, rolling your shoulder blades down your back, curling your toes, exhale your belly back, float up and jog. But again, it's your first dog of the day, so maybe it's a moving dog. Maybe you bike on your feet. Maybe you move your head and your shoulders, moving around until you find your dog for today. Just seeing how that feels. And then eventually finding your dog pose and pausing for a couple of breaths. So letting the head go, shoulders go, elbows look forward. Weight is evenly distributed into the palms, the heels of the hands, as well as the fingertips and the mound of the thumb. Knees are soft, not locked. And maybe you're just inviting your heels towards the mat. They may not get there. Eventually, coming back down slowly, releasing into child's pose for another deep breath. Eventually, from there, coming back into dog and then hopping or bringing one foot at a time up to meet your hands. Again, maybe you have your blocks handy if you are unable to get to a flat back in a forward bend. Inhale up to a halfway lift, so maybe you're on your thighs for that. Exhale to fold, wherever that is for you, maybe that's to blocks. Bend your knees, inhale all the way up. Extended Tadasana. Namaste. So maybe almost like a little bit of a mini sun there to get you back up to standing. Make sure your head is the last to come. If you have low blood pressure, sometimes you need to come up even more slowly. So eventually let that go and shake that out. And we'll come to Tadasana or mountain pose. Legs and ankles and hips and shoulders are all lined up. Standing up nice and tall. Maybe close your eyes for a moment if you're comfortable. Reaching through the center point of the top of your head towards the sky, through your tailbone towards the earth. Breathing here, notice if you've locked your knees, really connecting with the breath here. Where can you offer yourself some loving kindness in this position? Maybe your shoulders around your ears and you can let them go a little bit, bring a little movement to them, just to release. Maybe you've super locked your knees, let them be a little bit soft. Breathing here for a moment. In your time coming into Namaste, a prayer position with your hands on the center point of your chest. If you're comfortable, keep your eyes closed. If your mind is really busy, balancing will be difficult in general, and with your eyes closed, balancing becomes even more challenging. So perhaps leave the eyes open and gaze at a spot that doesn't move. But if you're comfortable, close your eyes and then slowly come up onto your toes. Maybe if your eyes are open, like mine, you might be a little wobbly, and that's okay. And then slowly come back onto your heels. Invite your body to the outsides of your feet. Watch your ankles. Pay attention to your ankles. And the insides of your feet. Try to find the center point of your feet. So as if the center point of your feet can reach and ground you into the earth. Still with your breath. Even though we're resting into the ground and we're strong and tall in our mountain pose or Tadasana, we're still not locking those knees. Our knees are so soft. From here, exhale your belly back and allow your right knee to float towards your chest. So here's where you may need to open the eyes and gaze at something that doesn't move. From here, you're going to exhale and bring your ankle to your opposite thigh. So make sure that you're not putting any weight on the knee. The weight is on the shin. Sorry, the thigh. It can be on the shin if you need it to be. But if you can, the ankle is on the thigh. And it's not even the ankle per se. It's just above the ankle. Because again, we never want to put any pressure on our joints. If you need to, you can always release Namaste and become more of an airplane. That can help you balance. If it's comfortable for you, sitting by sticking your bum back. And you should still be able to see your toes. And try to come out with grace if you can. Obviously, I couldn't. Eventually, when it's enough, slowly bring that knee back towards your chest. And then place your feet back down on the mat. Letting that go, shaking that out. Again, coming back into Namaste, into Tadasana. A prayer position in mountain pose. Find that center point of your feet. Maybe coming onto the toes, heels, insides and outsides of the feet. Find that center point. Still there's your breath. Knees are soft, shoulders at ease. Exhale to engage your belly and shift your weight this time to the opposite foot. So I said to bring the right knee towards your chest last time. If you did that, great, just pick up the left. If not, switch sides. So whichever side you just work with the opposite side. From there, crossing again. It's the just above the ankle to just above the knee. Or if you really need to, you can always put it on your shin. That's okay too. Breathing here. Be an air clean if you need to be, like I do. But you can always have the wall or furniture by you if you need to have some support. Okay? But just the act of wobbling actually helps us engage our proprioception muscles and work our core a little bit more. If it's comfortable for you, sit. So sitting back, bending the knee, thinking about a chair pose, but with your, in more of a garden gate with your legs open. Okay, so chair pose, but stick out your bum. So if I look down, I can see my foot, my toesies. Because you don't want to torque the knees. So we always want to sit back. That protects the knees. If we come forward, that's going to torque the knee. It's going to be very uncomfortable or create damage over time. Okay, so sitting nice and long and tall in your spine. Breathe it down. When it's enough, come out with control. From here, we're actually going to come to a little bit of lateral movement. So coming back to Tadasana. Bend your knees, inhaling all the way up, taking a hold of the right wrist with the left hand, and then tipping to the left. Feeling a nice stretch in the side body. Inhaling to come up and switch. Inhaling to come up. This time we're going to cross one leg completely over the other. And then from there, so my left, well, my right leg is on in the front, but maybe your left is. I'm going to take whatever leg is in front. That's the arm I'm going to hold on to. I'm holding on to just above the wrist. And then I'm tipping to my left. So my right leg is in the front. My right arm is the one being held by my left. And I'm tipping to the left. So there's my breath. Slowly release. Cross the legs the other way. One completely over the other. Knees are not locked. So now I'm going to hold the left arm with my right. One tip to my right. Left leg is in front. Left arm is being held by the right. Breathing there. Shoulders still roll down your back. Eventually slowly release. From here, I like to open the shoulders and the back and the chest a little bit. So you can do this seated. Most people aren't necessarily comfortable seated for any length of time, but if you're going to sit, I'd recommend sitting on a prop. Okay? So sitting up on a prop with the legs crossed, or you can stand. I'll leave it up to you. Okay? So if you're standing, you're coming into Namaste. I'm sorry, you're coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. And from here, we're going to go right over left first. So from here, I'm going to inhale and bring the arms up, forward, place the palms together, and reach them towards the floor. As I take my next exhalation, I'm going to unscrew the palms or open the hands and reach the arms back to open the chest, gazing at the ceiling. As I inhale, I'll take the arms forward towards my face, right palm over left, reach the arms forward. Eventually, I'm going to exhale, open up, and open my arms towards the sky, opening my chest. This time, I'm going to cross and reach my hands over the top of my head, gaze at the ceiling. Breathing here. Again, opening up Reaching back for a full extended Tadasana. This time I'm going to cross the left hand over top of the right. Reaching towards the ceiling, gazing at the ceiling, opening the chest. Inhaling to come forward towards my face, opening up. Eventually, coming back down towards the floor, left hand over right again, stretching towards the floor, opening up to the floor. And then last time, reaching forward towards my face again, left hand over right. And opening up to the top. And then release that and let that go. Great, so hopefully the shoulders and the chest are open and nice and released. From here. And then come down to do a little bit forward. So placing the hands into Namaste. Take a flow if you wish, or you can slowly work with me. So from Namaste, Tadasana at the top of the mat, inhale all the way up to extended Tadasana. Bring your blocks with you if you need, or using your furniture. Exhale to fold forward, forward bend, wherever that is for you. Maybe that's using the furniture, maybe that's comfortable on the floor with your knees bent. Inhale to a flat back. So maybe your hands are on your shins. Maybe flat back for you is hands on thighs. Exhale to fold. From here, we're going to come into high lunge. So I'm going to step the toes back. Front knee stays bent. Inhale to high lunge. Options, you can slowly sink to the floor or release the arms and use them to help you sink to the floor. This time we're going to step forward a little bit and come into a low crescent lunge. Breathing here. So I'm stretching out that back thigh. So if you can't see that as well, stretching out the back thigh, front knee still. I can see my toes. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and my arms are in the same position they would be for extended Tadasana, same with me. Eventually let that go, and sit back onto the opposite leg, and then stretch the hamstring of the leg in front. Eventually slowly come back. One more time in a crescent lunge. This time interlace your hands behind your head and reach up. Breathing here, nice gentle stretch. Slowly release one more time. Stretching out the hamstring. Reaching forward. And this time coming into a lower lunge, coming into the center. And then reaching to the opposite side. So I'm basically just bringing my arms towards the side to come into more of a lateral stretch. Now this front knee might want to fall in. I want to keep it facing forward, just like when we do our warrior two. Just to feel a nice lateral stretch here. And then walking the hands back, curling the toes. And you're probably on the opposite side to me. Coming back into that high lunge. Slowly release the arms, stepping up into extended Tadasana. And coming to Namaste. Shake that out, let that go. We'll work on the other side again. Have your blocks handy if you need them. So from Tadasana, inhale, extended Tadasana. Exhale to fold into forward bend. So using your blocks, the furniture, the floor, whatever works for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, maybe your halfway lift is higher. Listen to your hamstrings. Exhale to fold, stepping back into that high lunge, this time on the left side. So you're on your toes, everything's facing forward, front knee is bent. Nice long lunge. Coming into almost an extended Tadasana, upper body with the legs in lunge. From here, you can slowly sink to the ground if that's okay for your knees. Otherwise, use your arms to bring you down into that forward crescent lunge. Breathing there. So again, I can still see my toes, the front leg or the back leg. I'm lengthening the thigh. And then from here, I'm going to sit back, stretching at the hamstrings. There's my breath. Again, I'm going to come forward. And this time, I'm going to bring the hands back, open up to the ceiling as if I'm trying to pop my head off with my hands, but my head is also pressing, my hands are pressing. Slowly release, coming back to stretch the hamstring. Coming forward again, this time coming to the center. You may have more mobility on one side than the other. And starting to walk those hands over here into the center of the room, or wherever you are. So away from the bent leg in the front to get that lateral stretch going again. Breathing there. Eventually walking back. Coming back to that crescent lunge. If you need, use your hands, otherwise curl the toe back into high lunge. Bringing the hands into namaste. Tucking your foot, 2 feet together and extended Tadasana. And let that go. Shake that out. And we'll come to the center of our mat. Stepping the feet wide to come to a wide-legged forward bend. So again, you may want to have your blocks. Slightly pigeon-toeing your feet, so meaning turning your toes in a little bit. Knees are soft. Thighs rotate out like a book opening. Exhale your belly back, tip from your hips, nice flat back. Maybe your hands go to your blocks. Maybe they're comfortably reaching the floor. Listen to your body. Nice and long and tall in your spine. Feeling a nice gentle stretch. When it's enough, toe heel it in part way. Slowly roll up, bend knees, one vertebrae at a time. Let your head be the last to come. Shake it out. Again, anytime you need some water, please take some. When you're ready, before we ask our hands to work a little bit more, we'll stretch them out. So stretching the palms face down and forward, stretching them in the stop position, stop. Stretching them in the opposite way, not too far. Show your body some love and kindness when you stretch like this. Stretching up the fingers, stretching up the wrists. Still with your breath. Actually, let that go. So from here, we'll take a bit of a flow to get to our poses. So have your blocks handy. So from Tadasana. And again, if you're tired, if you don't feel like flowing, I know it can be really warm when you flow. So if you're too warm, listen to your body. Offer yourself that loving kindness to do what your body's asking of you. So if you're ready, you can follow along with me. Reach your hands into Namaste. Bend your knees, inhale all the way up to extended Tadasana. Exhale to fold into forward bend, and using the props if you need. Inhale to a flat back, wherever that is for you. Exhale to fold. Stepping your right foot back and dropping the knee if you wish, or stepping both feet back right into downward dog. Downward dog is your resting pose when we're doing sun salutations, but if you need a rest in child's pose anytime, reminder, child's pose, widen the knees, toes together, forehead down. Warm your hands. Please take it. Okay. And then you can also move to these poses from dog, or you can come from table. Okay, so listen to your body. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to put our right hand in the center of our mat. We're going to step our, so right now I've got my right hand in the center of the mat. I've stepped my left foot up, and I'm bringing my right foot into plank. Okay, so I'm coming into a modified side plank. You can also come to that from dog, center of your mat. Okay, you can also do plank without the foot in front. You can stack your legs, gaze at your top hand. Come into whatever version of side plank works for you. And then eventually slowly come back down. Coming to side plank from the floor is a little bit more difficult. So once you've done your side plank, come back into dog or table. And then coming into plank. From plank to chaturanga, so slowly lower down. Bending the elbows back, sliding the hands forward, upward puppy. Exhale, roll the shoulder weight blades back to come into downward dog, or child's pose if you need a rest. Step your right foot up between your hands, or if you need to, come to the knees first. From lunge into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Engage your belly, bend your knees, inhale all the way up. Then Tadasana, Namaste. Okay, let that go, and we'll do the other side. So coming back to Tadasana. Slowing the breath if it's quickened. In your time, inhale all the way up to extended Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, forward bend, wherever that is for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Either step the left foot from lunge and then into dog, or you can drop to the knees. And then you're going to do plank on the other side. Okay? So if you're coming from dog, your hand comes to the center, your foot comes to the center, and your other foot comes in front. Okay? Or you can step from table. Okay, so center, hand in the center, foot forward, other leg long. Okay, you decide. Once you've stayed in your side plank for a breath or two, come back into all fours or come back into dog, wherever you were. And then either step your left foot up between your hands or come to your knees first. And I missed the flow, so I take that back. What worked for you, come back into plank. From plank to chaturanga. Chaturanga, upward puppy. Upward puppy to downward dog. Breathing there. And then in your time, either stepping, hopping, left foot first, into lunge, from dog, or from all fours, and coming into forward bend. There. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, engage your belly. Inhale all the way up. Shake that out. Beautiful work, everyone. All right. So from here, we'll slowly come back down to the mat. We're going to come into dolphin, and we're going to do 5 dolphin push-ups. So dolphin is dog on your forearms. So my hands are in prayer. My elbows are comfortably under my shoulders. My shoulder blades are rolled down my back. And I'm coming into downward dog, put on my elbows. From here, I'm going to come forward for 5 breaths. So as I exhale, I come forward, thinking about bringing my nose or my chin to my thumb. 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly release. We'll come into extended puppies to release from that. So spread the fingers, keep the elbows lifted, forehead comes to the mat. If the mat doesn't reach the forehead, put a prop underneath like a block or a blanket. Sorry, and your toes are curled. From there, release in child's pose. So again, the difference between child's pose and extended puppy, the toes are uncurled, the arms are down. Again, if the mat doesn't come to your forehead, bring it to your forehead by stacking your fists or hands, or bringing your prop underneath the forehead. Couple of breaths there. When you're ready, slowly release and come on onto your bottom or onto a prop. So perhaps bringing a blanket or a zafu cushion or a pillow underneath. Move your personal cushions away. We'll sit up nice and tall in Dandasana or staff pose. From staff pose, we'll release our left leg out on an angle. Our right leg comes in. Again, you can always use a block, a prop, a blanket if your knee doesn't comfortably reach the mat. And having yourself elevated also helps, so you could also be sitting on a block. Sitting up nice and tall. From here, and just exhale to tip forward, leading with your sternum. Maybe you don't come too far, just a gentle stretch. And then eventually slowly come back. And we'll actually begin to exhale our belly back and twist towards our bent knee. Lengthen our other arm along our leg on the inside of it. Lengthen the opposite arm up. And do a gentle side bend. Gazing at the inner elbow of your top mat. Open in your chest. Breathing here. Your time slowly releasing and twisting the body. Letting that go, shaking out the legs, and then switching. So right leg comes out on an angle, left leg is coming into the groin area. Sitting up nice and tall, and you may come, I actually don't think I'm going to tip forward on this side. So leading with your sternum, just tipping forward gently. This time of the night. Just to come to a gentle forward bend, wherever that is for you. For me, this is it for today. Every day is different. So right now I'm choosing to offer myself some love and kindness. I'm not forcing myself to come forward in this pose. Actually slowly release. Exhale your belly back, spiral up your spine to twist towards the bent leg. Lengthen your opposite arm along the leg, knee or thigh. Reaching your butt, gazing at your elbow, and very gently taking to that side. Opening your chest, still with your breath. Listening to the body, offering it loving kindness. Breathing here. Eventually the arm slowly comes down, slowly unwind. Let that go. Shake that out. From here, preparing for Shavasana. So, if that means putting your socks back on, grabbing a blanket, having your your blocks handy so they can go underneath you, whatever works for you. Eventually coming back down to lie on your mat. Again, maybe that means having a cushion or pillow under your head. Personally, again, I prefer the flat mat, but it's up to you. Letting your arms be comfortably away from your sides. If you have a chair, bolster, blankets, pillows, you can always put them under your knees. You can also always throw a block or two underneath each thigh, one block under each thigh, just to let you relax a little bit more. You can also just lengthen the legs wider than the mat, or let the legs rest together apart. So coming back to Shavasana, if you wish, you can also sit with me. If you're sitting with me, perhaps you're sitting on a cushion, or a blanket to give yourself a little bit of height. And just choose a comfortable seated position. Perhaps it's cross-legged. Perhaps you've got the legs wide. And if you have trouble sitting up straight, perhaps you've got the wall behind you to help you keep a nice, long, tall spine. From whichever position you've chosen, an invitation to release into that pose. Noticing where your body is being supported by the earth beneath you. Reconnecting with your breath. Filling your whole body with fresh oxygen from the tips of your toes to the top of your head with a nice, long, deep breath in through your nose. And then sighing it out through your mouth, maybe even making a noise and letting everything go. If that feels good for you, maybe doing that a couple of times, inhaling through your nose, filling your body with fresh oxygen, every single cell. And as you exhale through your mouth, sigh it out. Being with each breath in each moment. Let there be nothing else. If any of the areas of the body still have some tension, try to send the breath there. Again, maybe going back to that visualization of having that part of the body expand with your breath in. And relax and let go with your breath out. Being with each breath. In each moment. Letting everything else fall away. There's nothing to do here. Rest. Breathe. Giving yourself permission for this time to rejuvenate after your practice. To replenish your body and your energy. Give yourself some nourishment that comes from rest. Rest is a healing place. Giving permission for it can be difficult. We can acknowledge that. Accept it. Let it go. Choosing to offer some loving kindness to our body, to our mind, to our spirit. Being with each breath. This breath. This moment. Just this. Taking your time here. Giving your intention for your practice. Perhaps it was to offer yourself loving kindness. Maybe something else resonated with you today. Being grateful for something, for the time to practice, for the mobility, for this practice. Perhaps set an intention for the rest of the day. Maybe that's to find ways to offer yourself loving kindness in everything you do. Or even asking what one thing is that you could do today to offer yourself some loving kindness. Maybe you already did it when you did your practice today and you're still in the process. Maybe it's what one thing you can be grateful for today. Whatever resonates with you. If you choose, you can stay in your practice in Shavasana as long as you like. If you'd like to close your practice with us, please do so gently, slowly. To wiggle your fingers and toes. Beginning to stretch or move in any way that feels right for you. And if you'd lie back on the floor, perhaps bring your knees to your chest and having a gentle walk from side to side. Head, neck, shoulders, everything comes with you. Moving and stretching in any other way that feels good. Before you roll to your right side for a breath or two, and use your arms to bring you to a seated position. Come to a comfortable seat when you're ready. Bringing your hands into Namaste, the central point of your chest. The soul or light or divine in you is honoring the soul or light or divine in you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and week. I look forward to seeing you for I believe our last class next week. And usually I try for Yogi's Choice next day, just because it is our last class together for a little while. So if there's any poses that you want to do, any areas of the body you want to work on, maybe bring that to next day. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're well. Take good care. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to type in the chat. Otherwise,